effect of psychology in sports. And today we have three topics. Nathan has his.
The abuse of referees.
My topic is the self-esteem of athletes and how they abuse drugs.
And my topic is the correlation between on-field and off-field violence.
I'd like to talk about in my topic, the abuse of referees, is the overall shortage of referees. It's not just that there are not enough referees to do the job. It's just that a lot of referees have only lasted a year or two, and there are many reasons to that. There's abusive behavior, there's also poor pay, and there's also bad sportsmanship. And abusive behavior can come from players, fans, or coaches, and any of the three, which also factors into bad sportsmanship, which never wants to happen. There have been reports from officials that they have been physically harmed after games, just because fans thought they called the game wrong or unfair. There can be a lot of different reasons to that. So basically, it's a hard profession for a referee because not all the time they can receive great pay, which a lot of people like to do it for the money, and they also love the sport. But a lot of times you have to learn to develop thick skin, which a lot of people unfortunately have failed to do because they just simply back out.
Clean tackle.
What the heck, ref? Why was that not a foul?
That was
you
a clean
tackled
tackle.
me.
That was a clean
you tackled
tackle.
me.
All right, you
Do you know
just
what
bumped
sport
an
we're playing? We're
official.
playing soccer.
Oh yeah,
it's soccer.
This
You
is soccer.
With the ball.
It was a clean tackle,
What the
man.
heck?
All right.
No way, that's not a foul. Come here.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Oh yeah. All right.
Come on.
All right. That's it. You're gone.
Fine, I'm done. I quit.
Conclusion, the whole psychological aspect and the abuse of referees, like players react to they think are bad calls, the same as to fans as well as coaches, and even worst case scenarios, they can be kicked out of the game or be like thrown in jail. That's like the most severe that could probably happen. But the more unsportsmanlike behavior there is in the psychological aspect, the less officials that it will participate in officiating the contest. Now, with that said, there are like I said before, there are many reasons why an official just officiate a contest. Well, one, sometimes the pay can be really good. A lot of people do it for the pay, and not just the actual enjoyment of it. And that certainly can be a psychological factor when trying to for example, break up a fight or getting hassled by anybody. But yeah, that's the skit with the whole fighting on the ground fighting on the ground. It just showed an example how a psychological factor can determine how a player or it can be a coach or anybody psychological aspect. So like the reaction towards the official on how they think it was a bad call and they went after them. So.
and steroids. And a main reason why that happens is because of the self-esteem of other athletes, whether if it's because they believe they're not strong enough, quick enough, sometimes they're going through mental problems like depression, anxiety, or just their boost of confidence is not there. So they tend to use drugs or steroids or other substances to boost their confidence. Some athletes you may recognize is Josh Gordon, Alex Rodriguez, or Sammy Sosa. Those three athletes are some athletes you may know of for using substance or having substance abuse or using drugs or steroids. And so with my topic, it's showing you how psychology works with the brain for athletes to use substance abuse and drugs and steroids.
Next day.
Topic I had where athletes sometimes feel with their self-esteem, they tend to try to figure out ways to improve themselves. Whether if they're going through self-esteem problems such as depression, anxiety, or having physical results that they don't like. So athletes, in my video, it just shows how athletes are willing to sacrifice their time of playing, having a career, and they tend to take drugs or steroids. So as you can see, as an athlete wanted to get his bench press max to 225 and couldn't successfully do it, he tends to take steroids, and within a week he becomes a stud who is bench pressing up to 225 times. So it just shows how psychology can really come into mind where athletes have problems thinking of how they want to be as an athlete or what hurts them mentally when things aren't going as well as they plan to. And so a lot of times players, coaches, and fans, or just relatives, they have the effect on how people can choose to do these type of choices.
So, correlation between on-field and off-field violence. Some sports, strength, aggression, and even violence is praised by coaches, fans, and even players. Athletes grow up being trained to be physically dominant over their opponents, whether it be soccer, football, wrestling, or boxing. And it can be hard to separate the feelings that come with the superiority on the field and transition to off-field. This can be seen by several violent sports having a higher rate of domestic violence, such as Floyd Mayweather of boxing, Hope Solo in soccer, O.J. Simpson, Greg Hardy, and Chad Ochocinco in the NFL.
This is a big game, Prince.
Yes, coach.
This is the national championship.
Yes, coach, I understand.
We need a big defensive stop right now, and I need you to hit somebody. You understand me?
I'm your guy, coach.
All right. We're going to go engage 8, all right?
All right.
Let's go.
Blitz, full out blitz. Let's go, baby!
Prince, how'd the game go?
I don't
Gosh,
feel
you're so good out there.
I don't want to talk about it.
What? Why? You played so well.
I don't want to talk about it, man.
I know you lost, but it's
Off me. I don't want to talk about it right now.
oh my
gosh, friend. I'm sorry, babe. I'm sorry, babe. No. I'm sorry. No.
So, sports that use like more aggressive, like hitting, slide tackling, or even fighting, can cause athletes to have more tendencies to carry on these ways outside of the sports field. These athletes are trained from a young age to be aggressive and physical, and so when they get older, it just becomes more of a part of the way they are, and so it's hard to just like turn off how they're trained. So it becomes evident in the high cases of domestic violence in sports such as football, boxing, wrestling, and even soccer. Whereas like sports that don't have as much physical contact or aggression have less cases of domestic violence.